Well, good evening, folks. Welcome to the Bowhill People's Burns Club 81st Annual Burns Supper, albeit on the Zoom platform. I hope you're all hale and hearty and your loved ones are keeping well as well. As we're under the auspices of this COVID. It's a terrible thing. So I hope everybody is okay. And gentlemen, if one thing Kevin just alluded to it there, if we could get the best of Bowhill order, and I didn't have the gavel with me, but I could still make a lot of noise for here. So if you just bear with that, and as you say, if you just obey Kevin's instructions about muting and things like that. So without much further ado, I'm just going to say enjoy it, and I'm going to hand you over to Kevin for he's going to MC it tonight and do all the technical wizardry in the background. Over to you, Kevin. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. President Alistair. I think thanks. We're going to start off in traditional fashion by addressing the haggis. Don't feel you have to stand up tonight because we're all a wee bit informal, but I'm delighted to say the haggis tonight is going to be addressed by our past president, Bob Garmory's son, who's beaming in specially from Germany. So I'll pass the conch to you, Stephen Garmory. Over to you. Remember, your mic's on mute, Stephen. Put it on to live or we'll not hear you.
Fair for your honest sonsy face, great chieftain of the Pudden-race, aboon them all ye tak your place, page, tripe, and theorem. Wheeler you wordy, o grace, as lang as my arm. Your groaning trenchers there ye fill, your hurdies like a distant hill, your peen would help to mend a mill in time o' need, and through your pores your dews distill like amber bead. His knife see rustic labour death, and cut ye up where ready slip, trenching your gushing entrails brick like ony ditch, and then oh, what a glorious sip, warm, reeking, rich. Then horn for horn they stretch and strive, heel tack the hindmost and on they drive, till all the real solid kites belive are bent like drums. Old Gidman, mace like to ride, be thank it hums. Is there that French ragout, or olio would stow a sou, or fricassee would mack her spew, with perfect scunner, looks down with sneering, scornful view on sick a dinner. Poor devil, see him o'er his trash, as feckless as a withered rash, his spindle shank a good whiplash, his knee a knit, through bloody floods and field to dash. Oh, how unfit. But mark the rustic haggis fed, the trembling earth resounds his tread. Clapping his wally knee a blade, and he'll mak it whistle, and legs and arms and heads will sned, like taps o' thistle. Ye powers who mak mankind your care, and dish them up their bill of fare. Old Scotland wants nae skinking wares, that jops and luggies. But if you wish her grateful prayer, then gie her a haggis. The haggis.
Some hae meat and can't eat, and some would eat that want it. But we hae meat and we can eat, and say the Lord be thanked.
Well done, sir.
Yes, Kevin, I've had a few. Obviously, with the cutback and the problems they're having with COVID, the numbers are well down this year. But so far, I've had either emails or cards from the Federation, from Arbroath Burns Club, the Ayr Burns Club, Leicester Caledonian Society, Winnipeg Burns Club, and the online RT Burns Club, who seemingly are nicking a lot of your videos and playing them on their screen now. However, I've also, as usual, I send out the ones for the Our Club, and I've sent them to Perth, Allenton, Balerno, Derby, Dundee, Dundonald in Ayrshire, Irvine, Lasses, Larkhall, Swindon District, Caledonian, London and also back to Winnipeg. So we're keeping the links there, and we just hope that we didn't lose them early next year. We'll get back to normal again next year, I hope.
Well, let's hope so.
That's eternal greetings, gents.
Thanks very much, Willie. And it's probably worth saying a thank you for your sterling job as secretary, even in these difficult times. I know you're still posting videos and so on, so thanks for that.
There was a lad was born in Galbad, what a day, oh what a style, and it's hardly worth a while to be so nice with Rovin. Rovin was a roving boy, rantin' Rovin, rantin' Rovin. Rovin was a roving boy, rantin' Rovin, Rovin. Him oh sheer body was 25 days begun. 'Twas in a blast of January when the Hansel lay on Rovin. Rovin was a roving boy, rantin' Rovin, rantin' Rovin. Rovin was a roving boy, rantin' Rovin, Rovin. He'll hae misfortunes great and small, but I have heard about them all. He'll be a credit to us all. We'll all be proud of Rovin. Rovin was a roving boy, rantin' Rovin, rantin' Rovin. Rovin was a roving boy, rantin' Rovin, Rovin.
To see Tommy there in fine fettle. I'm just sad he's not with us tonight, but hopefully we'll all get back to it sooner rather than later. I hope you're all singing along there in your wee house.
Epistle to a young friend. I long hae thought, my youthful friend, a something to have sent you, though it should serve nae other end than just a kind memento. But how the subject theme may gang, let time and chance determine. Perhaps it may turn out a song, perhaps turn out a sermon. You'll try the world full soon, my lad, and Andrew dear, believe me, you'll find mankind an unca squad, and muckle they may grieve ye. For care and trouble set your thought, even when your end's attained, and all your views may come to naught when every nerve is strained. I'll no say men are villains all. The real hardened wicked, who hae nae check but human law, are to a few restricted. The doch, mankind are unco weak, and little to be trusted. If self the wavering balance shake, it's rarely recht adjusted. Yet, wait a minute. Sorry, I'll be with you the new. Yet they who fall in fortune's strife, their fate we shouldna censure, for still the important end of life they equally may answer. A man may hae an honest heart, though purteth ALISTAIR him. A man may tak a neighbour's part, yet hae nae cash to spare him. Aye free, off-hand your story tell, when wi' a bosom crony, but still keep something to yoursel, you scarcely tell to ony. Conceal yoursel as well as you can frae critical dissection, but keek through every other man with sharpened, sly inspection. The sacred lowe o' weel-placed love, luxuriantly indulge it, but never tempt the illicit rove, though nothing should divulge it. I weave the quantum of the sin, the hazard of concealing, but och, it hardens all within, and petrifies the feeling. To catch Dame Fortune's golden smile, assiduous wait upon her, and gather gear by every while that's justified by honour. Not for to hide it in a hedge, nor for a train attendant, but for the glorious privilege of being independent. The fear o' hell's a hangman's whip to hold the wretch in order, but where you feel your honour grip, let that aye be your border. Its slightest touches, instant pause, debar all side pretences, and resolutely keep its laws, uncaring consequences. When ranting round and pleasures ring, religion may be blinded, or if she gie a random sting, it may be little-minded. For when in life we're tempest-driven, a conscience but a canker, a correspondence fixed wi' heaven is sure a noble anchor. Adieu, dear amiable youth, your heart can ne'er be wanting. May prudence, fortitude, and truth erect your brow undaunting. In Ploughman phrase, God send you speed, still daily to grow wiser, and may you better reck the reed than ever did the adviser.
Everybody else mute, please.
Farewell, ye dungeons dark and strong, the wretch's destiny. MCPHERSON'S time I'll no be long, yonder gallows tree. Say wantonly, say rantinly, say dauntingly gate he played a spring and he danced a run below the gallows tree. Oh, what is death but parting breath on mony a bloody plain? I've dared his face, and in this place I'll scorn him yet again. Say rantingly, say wantonly, say dauntingly gate he played a spring and he danced it round below the gallows tree. Untie these bands from off my hands and bring to me my sword. For there's no a man in all Scotland but I'll brave him at his word. Say rantingly, say wantonly, say dauntingly gate he played a spring and he danced it round around the gallows tree. I've lived a life of sturt and strife, I die by treachery. It burns my heart, I must depart and not avenged be. Say rantingly, say wantonly, say dauntingly gate he played a spring and he danced it round below the gallows tree. Now farewell light, thou sunshine bright, and all beneath the sky. May coward shame disdain this name, the wretch that dare not die. Say rantingly, say wantonly, say dauntingly gate he played a spring and he danced it round below the gallows tree.
You want me to take the book?
I've got it here.
Oh.
You right, Bobo? Start. Right.
If you're ready.
'Twas in that part of Scotland Isle that bears the name of Old King Coil. Upon a bonny day in June, when we were through the afternoon, Twa Dugs, we weren't thrang at hame for gathered ince upon a time. The first will name, they called him Caesar. He was keep it for his honour's pleasure. His size, his coat, his mouth, his lugs, showed he was nane of Scotland's dugs, but well put somewhere far abroad where sailors gang to fish for cod. His locket, lettered, broad brass collar showed him the gentleman and scholar. But though he was a high degree, the faint of pride, nae pride had he, but would have spent an hour caressing, even with a tinkler gypsies messing. The kirk, market, mill, or smiddy, nae taught it kite the worse did he, but he was stand as pleased to see them and straunting stains and hillocks with them. The other was a Ploughman's collie. A rhyming, ranting, roving Billy, were for a friend and comrade had him.
Just went.
And in his...
Come out of that.
Sorry?
In his freaks.
No, sorry, that threw me a wee bit, yeah.
The tether was a fine.
The tether was a Ploughman's collie, a rhyming, ranting, raving Billy, who had a friend and comrade had him, and his freaks had lured got him after some dug in Highland sang, was made lang syne, Lord knows how long. He was a gash and friendly dyke as ever lap a shuck or dyke. His honest, bossing, sonsy face, I got him friends in ilka place. His just was white, his towsy black, wheel clad with coat, his glossy black. His bossy tail with upward curl hung o'er his hurdies in a swirl. They doot, but they were fain together, and uns got back and thick together.
With social nose.
With social nose, while snuffed and snouket, while mice and middleworks they howk it. Till tired at last, we lang excursion and worried others in diversion, but tired at last with money a fast, they sat them down upon their ass and then began their long digression about the lords of their creation.
I've often wondered, honest Lewis, what sort of life pair Dugs like you have. And when the gentry's life I saw, what white pair buddies lived of all. Poor Laird gets in his racket lengths, his coals, his cane, and all his stents. He rises when he likes himself. His funkies answer at the bell. He calls his coach, he calls his horse, he draws a bonny silken purse, as lang's my tail. Through the steeks the yellow-lettered Geordie keeks. Fra morn to e'en, it's noch but toiling, at baking, roasting, frying, boiling, and though the gentry first are staking, yet e'en the haw folk fill their pecking, with sauce, ragouts, and sick like trashtray, it's little short of downright wastry. Oor whipper in, wee poor worth herself, it eats a dinner better than ony tenant man his lairdship has in all his land. And what pair cook folk pit their pension? I own, it's past my comprehension.
Truth, Caesar. Well, they're fast enough. A cutter howkin and a shuck, with dirty stains big in a dyke, bear a quarry and sick like. Himsel, a wife, he thus sustains a smittery o' wee duddy wains, and noch with his ain hand door to keep them right and tight and thack and rape. And when they meet with sair disasters, like loss of health or want of masters, just when you think a wee touch langer, and they mun starve of cold and hunger. But how it comes, I never kenned yet. They're mostly wonderful contented, and burly chews and clever hissies are bred and sick away as this is.
But then, to see how you neglect it, how huffed and cuffed and disrespect it, Lord man, your gentry care is little. For delvers, ditchers, and sick cattle, the gang is saucy by peer folk as I would by a stinking brook. I've noticed on our Laird's court day,
and mony a time my heart's been wi' pair tenant buddies, scanto cash, how they man soul a factor snash, he'll stamp and threaten, curse and swear, he'll apprehend them, pine their gear, while they man stone wi' aspect hummel, and hear it all, and fear and tremble. I see how folk live to hae riches, but surely poor folk mun be wretches.
Well, no so wretched Zin would think, though constantly on poverty's brink. They're sae accustomed to the sight of viewed gives them little fright. Sorry, somebody talking there.
I've seen what it is, the next line, isn't it?
Oh, sorry, guys, I got a wee bit confused there. I was getting a bit of backfeed. As chance and fortune are so guided, there ain't less or more provided. And though fatigued with close employment, a blink or rest a sweet enjoyment. And while 12 pence a nappy can make a body unca happy, they set aside their private cares, attend to kirk and state affairs. They'll talk of patronage and priests, kindling fury in their breasts, or tell us some new taxation coming, and fairly at the folk in London. When bleak-faced Hallowmarsh returns, they get the rantin' jovial cairns. And rural folk of every station unite in social recreation. Love blinks, wit slaps, and social mirth forgets there's care upon the earth. That happy day the year begins, they bar the door on frosty winds. The reeking mantle, the nappy reeking mantle reams and sheds its heart-inspiring steam. The lantern pipe and sneeshing mill are handed round with recht good will. The canty old folk, cracking crows, the young'uns running through the house. My heart has been so faint to see them that I for joy he barketh with them. Still, it's ever true as you say. Sick games are now ever often played. There's mony a creditable stock of decent, honest, fawcent folk are riving out that root and branch, some devils, rascals, greedy, thirst to quench, who think to knit himself the faster in favour with some gentle master. Those Ablins gang a thought parliamentin' for Britain's good and soul indented.
Faith, lad, you little ken about it. For Britain's good, yes, faith, I doot it. See rather go on as premiers lead 'em, and saying aye or no is the bid 'em, at operas and plays, parading, mortgaging, gambling, masquerading, or maybe in a frolic daft, to Hague or Calais tax a waft, to make a tour and take a whirl, to learn bon ton and see the world. There at Vienna or Versailles, he rives his feathers all in tails, or by Madrid he takes her out, to thrum guitars and fecht without, or doon Italian vistas startles, hoor hunting mangroves and myrtles, then boozes, drumly German water, to make himself look fair and fatter, and clear the consequential sorrows, love gifts of carnival signoras. For Britain's good, for her destruction, with dissipation, feud, and faction.
Ech, man, good sirs, is that the gate? The waste of money a braw estate. Are we so fucking and harassed for gear to go that way at last? Oh, would they keep a back for courts, please themselves with country sports, It would for every ane be better, the laird, the tenant, and the cutter. For they frank, rhyming, ranting billies, the fed here to their ill-hearted fellows. Apart from a breaking of their timmer, or speaking lightly of their limmer, maybe they should know a hare or moorcock. They're ne'er a bit of their ill to poor folk. But tell me, Master Caesar, sure great folks' lives a life of pleasure? Nae cold nor hunger e'er can steer them. The very thought would needna fear them.
Lord, man, worry about Wales where I am. The gentles, you ne'er envy them. It's true, they needna starve nor sweat through winter's cold or summer's hate. They've nae sair work to craze their banes and fill old age with grips and gains. But human bodies are sick fools for all their colleges and schools that when they real ills perplex them, they mak enow themselves to vex them, and aye the less they hate to start them, and like proportion, less will hurt them. A country felly at his pluck, his acre stilled, he's right enough. A country lassie at her wheel, a dozen's done, she's Uncle Wheel. But gentlemen and ladies wast, we even down want to work or cussed. They loiter, lounging, lank and lazy. No deal hate ails them, yet uneasy. Their days insipid, dull and tasteless. Their necks unquiet, long and restless. And in their sports, their balls and races, their galloping through public places, their sick parade, sick pomp and art, the joy can scarcely reach the heart. The men cast out in party matches, then suther deep debauches. Enacht, they're mad with drink and hooring. This day, their life is past enduring. The ladies, arm in arm, all in clusters, as great and gracious, all as sisters. But here they're absent, so they're all run deals and jades together, while ere their wee bit cup and platey, they sip the scandal potion pretty, or lee lang nicks with crabbit looks, pour out the devil's picture books, stake on a chance, a farmer's statuary, and cheat like ony unhung blackguard. Oh, there's some exceptions, man and woman, but this is gentry's life in common.
With this, the sun was out of sight, and dark as gloaming brought the night. The bum clocks hummed, the easy drone, and the kye stood routing down the lawn. When up the gut, shat their lugs, rejoiced, they weren't men, but dugs. And each took off their own direction, resolved to meet some other section.
You can join in, I'll not hear you anyway. Awa Whigs Awa, Awa Whigs Awa, you're but to pack at the raider loons, you'll do nae good at all. Our dress of flourish, fresh and fair, and bonny beamed our roses, but the Whigs came like a frost in June, and withered all our posies. Awa Whigs Awa, Awa Whigs Awa, you're but a pack at raider loons, you'll do nae good at all. Our ancient crowns fallen in the dust, they'll blind them with a stew road, and write the name in the black book, what gives the Whig the poor. Awa Whigs Awa, Awa Whigs Awa, you're but a pack of traitor loons, you'll do nae good at all. Our sad decay in church and state surpasses my describing. The Whigs came o'er us like a curse, and now they're done with thriving. Awa Whigs Awa Whigs Awa, your part a pack, your trader lunge, you'll dain a good at all. Grim vengeance lang 18 and half, but now we might be walking. God help the day when royal heeds are hunted like a mocking. Awa Whigs Awa Whigs Awa, your part a pack, a trader lunge, you'll dain a good at all. Awa Whigs Awa Whigs Awa, your part a pack, a trader lunge, you'll dain a good at all.
My father was a farmer upon the Carrick border, and carefully bred me in decency and order. He bade me act a manly part, though I had ne'er a farthing, for without an honest manly heart, nae man is worth regarding. Then out into the world by chance I did determine, though to be rich was not my wish, yet to be great was charming. My talents they were not the worst, nor yet my education. Resolved I, at least to try to mind my education. In many a way and vain essay I courted fortune's favour, some cause unseen still stepped between to frustrate each endeavour. Sometimes by my foes I was overpowered, sometimes by my friends forsaken, and when my hope was at the top, I still was worse mistaken. Then tired at last and sair harassed, with fortune's vain delusion, I dropped my schemes like idle dreams and came to this conclusion. The past was bad, and the future hid its good drills and pride, but the present hour was within my power, and so I would enjoy it. No help, nor hope, nor view had I, or person to befriend me, so I must toil and sweat and moil and labour to sustain me. To plough and sow and reap and mow, my father bred me early, for one he said to labour bread was a match for fortune fairly. Thus all obscure, unknown and poor, through life I'm doomed to wander, till down my weary bones I lay in everlasting slumber. No view nor care, but shun whate'er might bring me pain or sorrow. I live today as well as I may, regardless so tomorrow. But cheerful still, I am as well as a monarch in his palace, though fortune frown still hunts me down with all her wonted malice. I make indeed my daily breed, but ne'er can mak it further, but as daily breed is all I need, I do not much regard her. When sometimes by my labours I earn a little money, some unforeseen misfortune comes generally upon me. Mischance, mistake, or by neglect, or by my good-natured folly, but come what will, I've sworn it still, I'll ne'er be melancholy. All you who follow wealth and power with unremitting ardour, the more in this you look for bliss, you leave your view the further. Had you the wealth Potosio boasts, or nations to adore you, a cheerful, honest-hearted clown, I would prefer before you.
Hey, Waukin O, Waukin I and weary, sleep I can get in, for thinking on my dearie. Hey, Waukin O. Summer's a pleasant time, flowers of every colour, the water runs o'er the heath, and I long for my true lover. I Waukin O, Waukin I and weary, sleep I can get in, for thinking on my dearie. I Waukin O. When I sleep I dream, when I walk I'm eerie. Sleep I can get in, for thinking on my dearie, Waukin O. Lane next come on, the labour sleeping. I think on my bonny lass, and I blear my in wig written. Waukin O, walking and weary, sleep I can get in. For thinking on my dearie, Waukin O.
Rosy May comes in with flowers to gather gay green spreading boughs, and now comes in the happy hours to wander with our baby. Meet me on the walk now, Dainty Davie, Dainty Davie. Where I'll spend the day with you, my dear Dainty Davie. The crystal waters round us fall, the merry birds and lovers all. The scented breeze around us blow, a wandering with our baby. Meet me on the walk now, Dainty Davie, Dainty Davie. Where I'll spend the day with you, my dear Dainty Davie. The purple morning starts ahead to steal upon her early fair. All through the dews I will prepare to meet my faithful Davie. Meet me on the walk now, Dainty Davie, Dainty Davie. Where I'll spend the day with you, my dear Dainty Davie. When day expiring in the west, the curtain draws on nature's rest, I greet whose arms I lose the best, and thus my dainty Davie. Meet me on the walk now, Dainty Davie, Dainty Davie. Where I'll spend the day with you, my dear Dainty Davie. Thank you.
But there is, of course, a backup plan. Land-a-dear, ye Jacobites by name, land-a-dear. Ye Jacobites by name, your faults I will proclaim, your doctrines I am blame. You will hear, your doctrines I am blame. You will hear. What's right and what is wrong, by the law, what is right and what is wrong, by the law. What is right and what is wrong, a short sword or a long, a weak or more or strong, for to draw a weaker, more a strong for to draw. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, your thoughts I will proclaim, your doctrines I man blame. You will hear, you will hear. Your doctrines I man blame, you will hear. What makes heroic strife, famed afar, famed afar? What makes heroic strife, famed afar? What makes heroic strife to whet the assassin's knife, or hunt a parent's life with bloody war, bloody war? To hunt a parent's life with bloody war. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, your thoughts I will proclaim, your doctrines I man blame. You will hear, you will hear. Your doctrines I man blame, you will hear. So let your schemes alone in the state, in the state. So let your schemes alone in the state. So let your schemes alone adore the rising sun, and leave a man undone to his fate, to his fate. And leave a man undone to his fate. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, your thoughts I will proclaim, your doctrines I man blame. You will hear, you will hear. Your doctrines I man blame. You will hear.
ALEC and by Yon Toon and by Yon Gearden Green again. ALEC and by Yon Toon and see my pony Jean again. Their name shall tell and it shall ken, breaks me back her gate again. She's the fairest, faithful lass, stolen we shall meet again. And will I go and by Yon and by Yon Gearden Green again? Will I go and by Yon and see my bonny Jean again? We'll wander by the aching tree, trysting time draws near again, when our lovely form at sea was with she's doubly dear again. And will I go and by Yon Gearden Green again? Will I go and by Yon and see my bonny Jean again? Oh, sweet is she in Yon Toon, the sinking sun is doon on. A better dance in Yon Toon is setting when they're shone upon. And will I go and by Yon Toon and by Yon Gearden Green again? Will I go and by Yon Toon and see my bonny Jean again? Thank you.
Here we go. When January winds was blowing cold, as to the north I made my way. The milk stained night did me unfold, and you knew where to lodge till day. But my good luck, a maid I met just in the middle of my care, and kindly she did me invite to walk into a chamber fair. I bowed low unto this maid and thanked her for her courtesy. I bowed low unto this maid and bade she make a bed for me. She made the bed both large and wide with twa white horns, she spread it down. She did a cup to her rosy lips and drank, young man now, sleep ye soon. She snatched the candle for her hand and for the chamber went with speed. But I quickly called her back again, till there's a mere below my head. I called, she lay below my head and thanked me with due respect. Just look her with a kiss. I put my arms about her neck. Hold off your horn, young man, she says, and dinna say uncivil be. Give you only love for me or I'll name my virginity. Her hair was like the links of gold, her teeth was like the ivory, her cheeks like lilies dipped in wine, the lass that made the bed to me. Her bosom was a driven snow, twa drift it heaps of fair to say. Her limbs a polished marble stain, the lass that made the bed to me. I kissed her, hour and hour again, and as she wasn't what to say, I laid her between me and the wall. The lassie thought it nae long till day. Upon the morrow when we raised, I thanked her for her courtesy. But as she blushed and as she sighed, said, alas, you've ruined me. I clasped her wing and kissed her sign as a tear stood twinkling in her ear. Said, lass, dinna cry, for you I shall mak the bed to me. She took her mother's holland sheets, made them in sacks to me. Blithe and merry may she be, the lass that made the bed to me. The braw lass made the bed to me, the bonny lass made the bed to me. I'll never forget till the day I die, the lass that made the bed to me.
That one's plenty brilliant.
When he's a bonny lad, he's minding himself true, Joe. His garter's not below the knee, bound it into Joe. When he come home with teen, he's often want and weary, stamp the one that's on the dry, and go to bed, my dearie. I will wash my Ploughman's horse, and I will dress his orderly, and I will make my Ploughman's bed, see him late and early. Hey, my heavy Ploughman, all the trees are he being east, the heavy the west, heavy at St. Johnston, the bonniest sack the day I saw, Ploughman lad. Silver buckles on my shoes, silver buckles glancing, I keep my bonnet on my head, but Betty the barn girls and the corn moo man, I never got my poggy poo to laugh it way up.
When Wild War's deadly blast was blowing, and gentle peace returning, with many a sweet babe featherless, and many a widow mourning, I left the lines and tented fields where lang had been lodger. A humble knapsack on my back, a poor but honest sodger. A wee licht heart was in my breast, my hand unstained with plunder, and for fair Scotia's hame again, I cheery on did wander. I thought upon the banks of Coyle, I thought upon my Nancy, I mind the ire witching smile that caught my youthful fancy. At length I reached the bonny glen where early life I sported. I passed the mill and the Tricenthorn where Nancy after courted. And wha spied I but my ain dear maid doon by her mother's dwelling, and turned me round to hide the flood in my ee was swelling. With altered voice quo, sweet lass, sweet as yon hawthorn blossom, oh happy, happy may he be that's nearest to thy bosom. My purse is licht, a far to gang, I fain would be thy lodger. I've served my king and country lang, tak pity on a soldier. Sae wistfully she gazed at me, and lovelier was than ever. Quo she, a soldier aince I lood, forget him shall I never. your humble cot, your hamely fare, you freely shall partake o' it. The gallant badge the dear cockade, you're welcome for the sake o' it. She gazed and reddened like a rose, sighing pale like ony lily. She sank into my arms and said, "Art thou my ain, dear Willie? By him that made the sun and sky, by whom true love's regarded, I am the man, and thus may still true lovers be rewarded. The wars are o'er, and I've come hame, and find ye still true-hearted, though poor in gear, we're rich in love, and mair, we'll ne'er be parted." Quoth she, "My grandsire left me gowd, a melon plenished fairly, so come, my faithful soldier lad, you're welcome to it dearly. For gold the merchant ploughs the main, the farmer ploughs the manor, but glory is the soldier's prize, the soldier's wealth is honour. The brave poor soldier ne'er despised, nor treat him as a stranger. Remember he's his country's stay in its day and hour of danger."
Okay, right. My heart is sore, I don't know tell. My heart is sore for somebody. I couldn't walk a winter's night for the sake of somebody. Home for somebody. Home for somebody. I could range the world around for the sake of somebody. Ye powers that smile on virtue's law, oh, sweetly smile on somebody. Frae ilka danger keep her free, and send me safe, my somebody. Home for somebody. Home for somebody. I would do what would I know for the sake of somebody. Home for somebody. Home for somebody. I would do, what would I know for the sake of somebody.